In today's video, I'm going to show you how we can use the copy command in the assembly to copy parts and retain the constraints that you have in between the parts as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you that these do have constraints in them. So if I right click, find in browser, you'll see that it highlights it, and you'll see that I've actually got some constraints between different components over here already. Okay, so there are constraints over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the copy command. So if I select the copy command over here, you'll see that I'm going to go and kind of select everything individually. You can't sort of window select and get everything. So I'm going to go back and cancel. And I'm going to first select, and then I'm going to click on the copy command. So it selects all those components that I've got over there, and it gives me the copy command over here. Now you'll notice over here I can go and change it from not being copied, so I can actually take away components over here that can be copied, or I can say make a copy of it, or I can say make a copy of it or reuse it. Okay, so that is copy is selected. Obviously the blue one is copy, and the yellow plus is reuses the object. So it actually makes an exact replica of it, so it'll be an instance and not a copy of it. Okay, so now that we've got that, you can see that I can go through them. If I wanted to just take all of them, I can actually just change all of them at once as well. Okay, so you can see how you can either just reuse everything or make a copy of everything as well. So with making a copy of it, you can see that I can copy relationships as well, or ground the new component. Okay, so with copy the relationships, those relationships are those mate constraints, your flash constraints, your angle constraints that reside within each, between each of the components. Once I've done that, I can click on OK. And because I'm making a copy of it, it brings up this copy components dialog box, which you're probably familiar with if you use the other sort of copy tools, or the mirror tool, for instance. And there you can now go and see, we can go and change the name. So source file name, the file name is going to be, so I can go to my file name and go change it to something completely different. I can say this must now be 1. Okay, you'll see that it goes and renames that. Or what you could do is you could say, you could create a new assembly out of this as well. Okay, so let's create a new assembly out of that. And then with the display name, you can have assembly name, your date, month, date year, file name, project name, source display name, or reset. So you can use the display name, you can have the file name, and you can also have the location path of where you're going to save it as well. If you're not happy with this, you can see over there that I've actually got, CPY, sort of at the back of it. So the file name, or you could say, look, it must be the assembly name plus the source file name underscore copy. Sort of all over there. So we can go change those manually. If I return back to my selection and I say, listen, right, it's actually going to reuse all these components. I'm going to make an exact copy of it. You'll see there, it doesn't give me those options over there. Okay. It will create, though, a new assembly because I've got new assembly ticked. So I'm going to tick it off, and you'll see there, it then grays it out. So now it's going to make an exact copy out of it. And you'll see there what will happen now. So once I'm happy with that, I click on OK. And you'll see it brings it in there. Select where I want to place it. And what it does, it makes a copy and places all the constraints in there as well. So now this is an exact copy of it. If I look at this, big components over here, and let's go find your browser, you'll see there 100-001-001 instance 2. Okay. If I select it, right click, and I go to my selection, you got select all occurrences. You'll see that it selects both those components. So now we know that those are the same part. If I had to go and change this component over here, then it would then automatically change this component as well. Now, this is actually quite a nice little tool. I mean, if I copy it, the options that we do have in here, you can either reuse it or make a copy of it. You can also go in and through this dialog box, create a new assembly. Or if you're going to make a copy of it, go and rename all the new components before you actually create your components over there, which is quite useful. If you're not going for that, if you don't need to make a copy or sort of make new names or anything like that, what you can do is the simple sort of process of you select everything that you want, and then go Control C and Control V. And what that does is it makes a copy while still retaining all those constraints there. So when I go find in browser, you'll see here it retains all those constraints that I've got over there. Okay, so a little bit quicker and easier than just going, sort of copying and making a copy of that. But with the copy tool, you do have that additional option of reusing or making new, reusing, sort of the components, as well as making new copies of it, as well as renaming it to what you need to do to rename it to for the new assembly. And that's just a little look at how to use the copy design. Thank you very much for watching.